Hello guys, the DB Grinder here, back at it again with another video, and this time I wanted to go over the website Meta Duelist. So this website is backed by a few people in the community like Nesh, Galzo TCG, Sleeve Chief, and I wanted to go over this website because it does have some useful information, but I also think there's things that they could improve on. So I wanted to go ahead and go over the website real quick. So first of all, they have a TCG and OCG option. We will go ahead and start with just the TCG option and then head into the OCG option. So first of all, it shows you like the tier list, TCG. Alright, sure, I'm not even going to look over that because, tier lists are kind of like, like opinion based, right? Like it's whatever your opinion is of it most of the time. So we will hop into the meta report first, go over all four options, and then go into the OCG. So meta report, we can see that the meta report right here is from the January 1st through the 14th. So we can assume that there will be like a part 2 January one that will drop anytime here soon, but also by the time it drops, it's probably going to be almost outdated since Post-Fan Nightmare is about to come out. But looking over this super quick, it shows like what events that they did it from. Just some regionals, and then like just all regionals, I guess. I mean, there really hasn't been any big events at this, through this time period. So we can go through, we can see some of the topping stuff. Okay, sure. And then, they go over some of the deck lists, talking about how stuff got hit. And yeah, yada yada yada, talking about how stuff got hit, the winner of it. And then, so I think this part's like all fine. This part's fine, right? This part's good. Going over some of the deck lists, talking about it. I mean, this is literally like, what Road of the King does. Actually, you know what? Let's read over what they have to say exactly. Because something about the Road of the King is the person who wrote their articles, I don't think actually plays competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! So I want to see if, maybe the person who wrote this actually does or understands it a little bit more. So it says, despite the multiple limitations imposed by the ban list, Tierlemans managed to win the German Opens even with the Guido and Kelbeck banned. The absence of these cards allowed for mixing previous deck versions, incorporating both King of the Swamp and Guardian Chimera, as well as the Destiny Hero Horus package, with the addition of Unchained Soul of Shyama, a beat something without Baron the Floor, despite the reduced RNG factor. Deck proves to be sufficiently linear, leading to guaranteed end words. Also, why are they using so many big words? I mean, I guess I can't complain, but like so many big words in that one text. Okay, sure. They didn't really say too much in that. Sure, they were kind of just saying like, oh, they play this and this, and they play a Shyama, which people were doing before also. Now we have the Rescue Ace Fire King strategy. So this proposed version today is one of the most spicy concoccations, akin to a dish crafted in the Michelin-starred kitchens. Okay, seamlessly blending Fire King and Rescue Ace to tier 1 contenders of the current format. This list, oh my gosh, it's how many big words can you use? Incorporates the essential engines of both decks, identifying the cohesive points between the two engines to maximize their potential, alongside expanding the main deck count to a robust 50 cards. With the inclusion of Diabellster and Snake Eye package, will circle the Fire Kings in 1-for-1. People play 1-for-1 in regular Rescue Ace too sometimes. This deck undergoes a significant surge in its ceiling, enabling it to adapt to a pseudo-combo deck, amplifying its pushing power when going second and capability of overturning any opposing board state. This innovation fusion not only enhances the deck flexibility, but also adds a layer of strategic depth, elevating its gameplay to new heights in the competitive scene. Again, they're not really saying anything. They're kind of just yapping out a paragraph, right? Like, can't we actually talk about the deck list some? Or, maybe you could be like, this deck was inspired by Pack TCG most likely. They played it at a regional not too long ago. Going over the deck list, we can go over a few of the things. We can talk about, it's interesting that they play one Impulse maybe, no Fire Engine anywhere, doesn't side any more Impulse, just wants to be able to search this to maybe help against like something like Evenly Match. We see a Barong in the main deck, 2 Kieran instead of 3, even though this card can act as like a pseudo like Called by the Grave as against like Imperm Veiler. We see like the burn package, Scatter Shot, Beatty Kieran on the side that helps out for time. Only has 2 Bells on the side, 3 Ash in the main. This deck can also afford to have a little bit less Labyrinth hate because it has the Fire King cards in it, which are naturally good against a deck like Labyrinth. I feel like these should be some of the things that are being talked about, not just, kind of yapping out like this is the deck, right? That's kind of what they're... Okay, I don't think this last one will say a whole lot anyways. Okay, so now we have a Branded Despia list. In a meta where hand traps seem to lose their edge against the dominance of board breakers, Branded Despia resurfaces like a phoenix from the ashes, making a trumpet return to the competitive scene. The proposed version, known as the Deep Draw variant, incorporates strategic elements like Allure of Darkness and 3 copies of Albion the Stratadragon. Okay, how is it strategic elements? See, dude, they're just throwing big words in that sound smart. These additions not only serve as extenders, such as Albion the Stratadragon's special ability to discern Retribution or Allure. Okay, I mean, yes. That is true, that can dump Retribution. I thought they were going to say for the special summon effect there, since they said extenders. Allure's capability to banish Tragedy and Mercurier, but also enhances the deck consistency by drawing impactful cards like Forbidden Droplet and Super Poly, which hold significant sway in the current format. Furthermore, the proposed list includes Gimmick Puppet in the main deck. Once the combo to summon it is resolved, special summoning on the opponent's field with the assistance of Albion the Sanctifier Dragon. It efficiently restricts the opponent's ability to special summon due to its lingering effect, which persists even after the card leaves the field. You should just say once you resolve it, the game's over. The strategic inclusion not only holds depth to the deck's gameplay, but also provides a disruptional potential, further solidifying Branded Despia's resurgence as a formidable contender in the evolving metagame. See, they just don't say anything. Like, that's even, I'm not gonna lie, that might just be worse than Road of the King, because at least Road of the King, they like try to come up with things, right? They're like, oh, they play 2 Solemn Strike because if you draw 2 Solemn Strike, we only play it at 2, but if we draw both of them, we can at least strike the opponent's play and then have a strike on our turn for a hand trap. Like, at least they're trying to actually say something about the list. Like, we had a whole paragraph about Gimmick Puppet and how it stops the opponent from special summoning. Like, oh, nice. I'm happy I read that paragraph right there that tells me Gimmick Puppet stops the opponent from special summoning. You should just say they play Gimmick Puppet so they can FTK game 1. Alright, cool. Next, right? I feel like that was like a lot of just yapping again. Okay, but let's see what the conclusion says. In recent weeks, the competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG tournaments Tier Limit, Rescue Ace, Fire King, and Branded Despia have emerged as notable contenders, showcasing their prowess, and versatility on the dueling field. Tier Limits managed to secure victory at the German Open despite facing ban list restrictions, demonstrating its ability to adapt and overcome challenges. Meanwhile, the innovation fusion of Rescue Ace and Fire King in the proposed deck version presents an intriguing blend of Tier 1 strategies, promising exciting gameplay and strategic depth. Additionally, Branded Despia has made the Trumpet return to the competitive scene, define the dominance of hand traps with its resilient board breaker tactics, with each deck offering a unique playstyle and tactical approaches, delving deeper into their intricacies, promises valuable insights for inspiring duelists. Okay, so once again, they didn't really say anything there. Like, they said very little. Like, I don't... Honestly, at that point, I would suggest not even reading what they have to say and just looking at the deck list and going. But at that point, wouldn't you just look at, like, a regional spreadsheet or something like that that takes less time so you can go through list faster? I feel like that might just be better. Or, or they could make the words better, choose better wording or something. I mean, using big words to make yourself sound smart, sure, but, like, if you're not actually saying anything, then who cares, right? Okay, so now going on to the next thing, we got the tournament report in the TCG. So this does go over a few tourneys, which this is a regional held in Mexico, okay, on the 21st with 180 players. See, I think this is fine. Yeah, see, they don't have any words for this one. This is honestly just better than what they had before. Just a bunch of lists. Some sources down there at the bottom. Okay, yeah, honestly, I can't complain about that one too much. The only problem is like, this information is already out there, on spreadsheets for people to go view themselves anyhow. And they can also download the decks off spreadsheets. Yeah, and you can't do that off of here. So, yeah, this isn't the greatest. Sure. So this is just kind of going over some regionals, but it doesn't even go over all the regionals, right? Or I guess it does. It just goes over like okay, it just goes over some regionals, but not all of them. There's also like, like I said, I'll actually leave a link down below to a regional spreadsheet if you want to check that out, which will have all of this on there, but you can access it a lot faster and you'll have a lot more deck lists and stuff like that, and you get a lot more info off of it. So I don't think their tournament report is, up to standard, really. And then spicy deck techs. So this is like an old one. Nikinko, Power Tool Braver. That's an old one. And then this one, this has 3 Shavara in it, so that's also old. I mean, some of these combos will still work, obviously. But people also are not going to care about Unchained as much right now as they would have before. Okay, and then we have the deck database, which has Flume, Vanadium, Kashtira 2. So it doesn't even have what they consider like the best deck or the second best deck. Also, I just realized they have Pearly on the tier list twice. They have Pearly as A and Pearly as B. Is it like a Sprite Pearly and then a regular Pearly? Why do they have Pearly there twice? Okay, and also like Runic, Fountain, could mean a lot of different things. But okay, I guess we'll just click on all 4 of these. Let me just open them all real quick. So, start with the Flu deck lists. Okay. Just scrolling through. Okay, yeah. I'm not actually gonna look over the Flu deck lists. We have a Vanadium deck list. All right, this one's cool. It shows the Banshee combo where you can try to like FTK opponents. Okay. Sure. Okay. All right, fair enough. Then we have Kashtira. The following deck lists are from various TCG tournament reports and have achieved at least a top 4 finish. Alright, so plays Prep, Big Bang, 3 Shang. Alright, on to the next one. I'm not looking over those. That's just not real. And then we have more people who top 4 finished. This has a Guido and Kelbeck on it. Wait. Did this one only have 2 Unicorn? It only had 2 Unicorn. Huh? Wait, so this is last format? Hold on, what would be different in this from this format to last format? I mean, nothing in Vanadium got hit, right? So, like, nothing would really be that different. Nothing that I can, like, truly think of. Oh, I guess, like... Yeah, okay. And, like, Flu... Yeah. Alright, so these are just old deck lists. Yeah, so it's quite literally just not up to date. So, the deck database just isn't really worth even looking at because it's just not up to date. Alright, so now let's go ahead and go to the OCG button here. So now let's look at the tier list for the OCG. We can see that they have, this is the new Dragon deck. I don't remember what this deck's name is, but it comes out in like the LOD stuff. Is that? No, that's just a random thing that popped up. Okay, so they said Voiceless, Voice, and Fire King are the best, and Chimera, Branded. Puts Rescue Ace down pretty low. Really has Chimera up that high, but has Rescue Ace down that low. Okay. Okay, so let's click on the meta report first and go over this. So, done with the TCG part, hopping into the OCG part now. The TCG part was not very great. Also, y'all can see this, right? Where it just, like, randomly says, like, if I hover over, it says 26 minutes. I wonder why it says that. But okay, so the meta report, January 4th through the 14th. Okay, once again, this is just, it's, like, it's almost outdated at this point, right? Because, like, when I'm recording this is February 2nd. So this is like weeks ago at this point. Weeks ago. And we all know Yu-Gi-Oh! Metagames change very fast and consistently. Even if a ban list doesn't come out and new cards don't come out, things constantly change, which will constantly change deck lists. So they go over some of the events that they put in there. Okay. So meta report, 97 decks, only using top 3 through top 4. Okay, just scrolling down. Alright, let's read what they have to say about Fire King. The Year of the Fire Rooster proceeds unabated, and the showcase deck remains largely unchanged with the exception of a noteworthy inclusion of Cosmic Cyclone in the side deck. This addition serves the strategic purpose of countering Fire King and other decks when going second, specifically targeting Fire King Island. This tactic move aims to diminish the opponent's interactions effectively. Can you explain what you mean by this? Like, obviously the opponent's still going to have interaction after you Cosmic Island. Droll and Lockbird as well as Nib, initially represented in the deck, have either been entirely removed from the main deck or reduced to singular copies, now serving as potential targets for stuff like Crossout. This adjustment reflects to a non-sentient shift in the deck's approach, highlighting a conscious effort to optimize card choices and adapt to the evolving dynamics of the current metagame. I don't think they know what the current dynamics of the current metagame are, by the way that they're talking still. Why didn't you bring up Skill Drain? Why didn't you bring up... Let's see, is there anything else interesting in here? Anything else that's like crazy? Main deck at least? Anything crazy? No, nothing that crazy. I mean, I guess there's not too much to say about it, right? I guess they do main deck of Talons. They side deck a Skill Drain, things that aren't like super common. They have a Heavy Storm in their side deck. A lot of players in the OCG have been choosing to play Lightning Storm instead. Okay, now we have Rescue Ace. Rescue Ace similarly unchanged, closely following the trajectory of Fire King with the exception of a noteworthy inclusion of Cosmic Cyclone in the main deck. This edition appears to become the weekly trend. Additionally, a new card has been introduced to the extra deck, Moon of the Closed Fiend. Yes, this is the one that I guess you can like pause the video and read over this if you need to read over. It's like the Underworld Goddess little one. Moon of the Closed Sky seems to be highly advantaged link monsters. Summon Underworld Goddess. Could potentially become a new addition as an extra staple in many decks. This strategic incorporation further demonstrates the adaptability and ongoing evolution of deck choices in response to emerging metagame trends. There was more big words than there were regular words in that sentence, I swear to God. But, let's see. Maybe could have talked about how the players are still on 2 Impulse. They're playing Fire Attacker instead of Fire Engine to help against Max Seed. This player's deciding to play 3 Preventer, even though most players have decided to go down to 2 Preventer recently. Playing 2 Hydrant in the deck list. Let's see what else. Plays 2 Cosmic. The main deck Reinforce, which, can be used to help the longevity of the deck, but also is like a really bad card to draw. All the traps are not very good to draw, so maybe it's not worth playing. Maybe we can talk about how they play 3, 6, 8, 10. Maybe about it's like 8, and then Called by an Impulse. Like half. Like they're definitely going second cards somewhat, but not the greatest going second cards. Then we see like the Underworld stuff in the extra deck, the Link 2, the Link 5. Okay, plays 2 Hida. Like, why can't we talk about 2 Hida? Why do we have to talk about literally nothing else besides the Moon Link? Why can't we talk about, there's 2 Hida. That card can come up multiple times in the extra deck, so they're deciding to play multiple of it. We don't see a Selene in their extra deck. We don't see a Baron in the extract that can also be made. We saw recently in a but a tournament finals in the TCG, we saw that card come up. It's probably not worth playing. But it is something to note. Super Poly, there's no Super Poly in the deck. Stuff like this I feel like should be brought up. Playing 2 Link 1s. Has Phantasme in the side. Set Snake Eye appears. Okay, so now moving on to Snake Eye. Snake Eye appears to be the most trending deck after Fire King, judging by its representation in the top cut of recent tournaments. The proposed version opts out of Jet Synchron, aiming to enhance the deck's stability by adding a third copy of Populous. Additionally, it incorporates Nib and Droll as singular copies, strategically serving as potential targets for crossout. Okay, they are targets for crossout. This deck's approach acknowledges the prevailing trend of increasing number of Snake Eye in recent versions, allowing them to efficiently navigate around these hand traps. However, these hand traps, particularly when combined with others like Veiler, Imperm, and Ash Blossom, still lose to a potential challenge. Or still pose a potential challenge. Okay. This non-seanced adaptation showcases the deck's effort to find a balance between consistency and resilience in the face of evolving metagame dynamics. Okay, so Nib, Droll, 1, they also help with crossout, sure. We play Subversion in the deck. That's interesting. The 3 Populous they brought up. That's interesting. There's no Birch in the deck. They also have Maxi in their format, so that card becomes a little bit worse, but it's still something to note for sure. They don't play the Link 2 with the Underworld Goddess, the one that just came out. They do play Celine, though. Again, no Super Poly, anything like that. They have Anti-Spell on the side deck. Not like, maybe like a Thrust DDG or something. They decided to go for a more hand trap reliant build instead of playing like a more going second board breaker type build. Then let's see. Well, I guess I don't know. It's also a little bit more rough too, because like in TCG we can play board breakers, but in OCG they also kind of want to draw hand traps off Maxi. I don't know. It's rough. It's definitely rough, but yeah. Conclusion. In the recent YuGiOh tournaments, Fire King, Rescue Ace, and Snake Eye emerged as potential contenders, each showcasing unique strategies and adaptations. Fire King demonstrated resilience with strategic side deck choices. Okay, strategic side deck choices. Why didn't we go into that? All we went over was Cosmic. While Rescue Ace incorporated the trending Cosmic Cyclone and introduced a potentially game-changing extra card, Moon in the Closed Eye. Snake Eye, the trending deck of the week, displayed adaptability by omitting Jet Synchron and optimizing hand trap choices. As the metagame evolves, these decks offer a glimpse into the dynamic landscape of competitive play. Okay, so the source to each event has been posted on our website under TCG Tournament Reports category. Okay, well, going back now to the tournament report. So we see... okay, let's go ahead and just open up a couple of these real quick, and also, okay, so I'm guessing that you can see them under this. So it says the China tournament report held on the 28th of January with 45 players. Okay, sure. So you see like Nadir Servant. Okay, so I like that we can actually see the list, because some of these it's very hard to actually see the list. Is that surprising? I'm not sure. But okay. It doesn't talk over the deck list. Says Flounderies runner up. Okay, like this one, you can reasonably make out what the stuff is. Okay. Then 4th place Fire King, 4th place Chimera. Okay, and then it says some sources right there. Now going on to the Haiku Champion card. Okay, the China tournament was held on the 27th with 84 players. Okay. Wait, they don't show side deck. I just realized that. There's no side deck in this. This is all main deck. Okay. Maxi, Nib. I think this is a copy of Moonlit for crossout. Okay. Also just, I guess, more hand traps to draw into. 3 trap card. They also have Sleepy at 1, Delicious at 2. They're playing, the Crystal Beast little package with only 2 field spell. Plays DeFi in the main deck. Extra deck. Okay. That's 15 cards because there's 5, 6, 4. And then runner-up, Rika San Avalon. Okay, so I'm pretty sure this is the main deck, and then this is the side deck? No. That wouldn't make sense, because why would there be... Wait. Is it? Huh. And this is the extra deck. Okay. I feel like we should just be turning these into DB deck lists, right? Or something like that, or like the YuGiOh Pro, at least something so that way it's easier to look at, right? I feel like we should be spending the little bit of time it takes to actually commit and make those. Yeah. Okay. I'm happy it does show the sources, though. The sources are definitely something very good to show, so that way people can go check out the stuff themselves. Okay. Let me look over one more of these. So then we got the Bad Cats card. Okay, 27th with 46 players. And then this just shows over a deck list. Okay, yeah, this one's hard to see. Like, I mean, is it 3 wanted? I actually just can't tell. I mean, those are 2 called by. These are probably 3 imperms. I mean, I could probably figure it out more and more if I looked at it harder and harder, but it should just be easier to tell. Like this, like what is this? It's so hard to tell what so much of this stuff is. Again, it should just be made into a DB deck list or something. So it's a lot easier to tell what the stuff is. Then see Ice Barrier. Oh god, yes. Haven't even looked into that deck yet. With the new support that's coming out, but I will soon. Okay, so I think the tournament report thing isn't that bad. Again, I think it should be turned into like different deck lists that are easier to look at, and maybe deck lists that you can also download, so that way people can just download the deck list instantly and try it out themselves if they want to, or change it a little bit, take Max C's out, cut Callby down to 1, maybe cut Cross out from the main, and then try their own things. From TCG, because it's mainly TCG players that are going to be looking at this website, right? Mainly. These are... Okay, I know this has been on the website for a while. Soul Release, Spicy OTK line. Okay, this had to be on the website for a while, because this is not Spicy OTK line. This is a very normal OTK line at this point. But let me check out Soul Release, the new OCG Spice. Yeah, this is definitely an old one, because this is not new anymore. It's fascinating, almost poetic to observe how cards that are used in the early days of the game make comebacks. Certain mechanics once explored have now evolved to the point where these cards become viable at competitive levels. Okay, then they talk about random cards. Alright, they talk about Soul Release. As decks increasingly rely on disruptions and follow-ups using graveyard effects, this card proves highly effective, providing an offensive response to the opponent's primary, if not sole, sources of interaction. Please talk about the interaction. Particularly impactful against Fire King, it can banish cards like Garunix, Princess, Original Sinful Spoils, simplifying a field filled with various layers of interactions without clear choke points. It provides more efficient than other board breakers, exponentially reducing the opponent's available plays for disruptions. They should also talk about, since they didn't just talk about Princess and Garunix, these 2 are interruptions, but maybe they should also talk about more, because they said it hits Original Sinful Spoil, Snake Eye, but maybe they should also be saying that it can also hit level 1s out of the graveyard, which will make their Flamebirds that is on the field, that will be linked off with IP, because, a lot of people set up Flamebird, summon out IP, link off in the SP, and then Flamebird, summon back 2 cards, and that gives you follow-up. Well, if you activate Soul Release, they won't get that follow-up, because there won't be 2 level 1s in the graveyard a lot of the time. Depending on what you can hit. Against Labyrinth, Soul Release is employed to banish cards such as Big Welcome. Okay, yeah, it can hit anything in their grave, of course. Could be a fan favorite card like Jerry Beansman, become meta in the future. Stay connected and follow this section of the website to find out. Okay. It's just like, you need to, it's like, I get it, you don't want to update it too often, and you only want to have actual, good things there. You don't want to update that too often, so sure. I think not updating that super often is fine, but it also doesn't have to be super spicy deck choices, too. It could just be simple things as Cosmic. I feel like Cosmic you could put there. Now we have the deck database, which I don't have high hopes after seeing the last one. But let me go ahead and just open up all of these real quick. Okay, so we see more this time. I see Fire King, Rescue Ace, some of the decks that they included. Actually, let me go back to the tier list. Okay, so they had that, they had the app. They didn't have Chimera. They didn't have branded deck list, so their whole A tier they didn't have there. Maybe that's something that they should work on. Silent Force. Okay, so just going over some of the deck lists, sure. Yeah, I'm not really going to go over the deck lists. But yeah, they just posted a bunch of them, which is fine. I do think this is better than what they were doing before with the other ones. Yeah, see, like, this should just be made into a deck list that's like this. Well, maybe not exactly like this, because this is really blurry for some reason. I think this is, like, fine, right? Like, people can make it, but it should be more like this. Like this. This is a very easy deck list to look at. You can see everything. You know, if there was a download button on it, that'd be, like, perfect. And then... Okay, going on. Magic Deflector in the main. Crazy. Okay, now we have Snake Eye. So we see Snake Eye, you know, main deck Gamma, sure, makes sense in their format, I guess, with Wanted, Bonfire, you know, Maxi and stuff like that. Side decks the Trap and Dramatic Chase to get access to the Trap card more often. They main deck the Trap card Dramatic Chase. All of them are main decking, or have Trap card Dramatic Chase somewhere in the list. Yeah, all of them did. Which is also not something that they are currently doing, as we saw before. Okay, I'm not even going to go over this. Yeah, because they're playing, like, an actual Horus stuff with a Small World on the deck. There's no shot Small World should be in the deck, right? I feel like that just costs too many cards on a deck list like this. Oh, this is also, like, the new Solemn Judgment. Or maybe it's Solemn Strike. It's one of the Solemns. That's, like, the new version of it. We see the Goblin Rider, which is good versus the Pearly deck. Okay. We see Fire King. Playing 2 Garunic. So this is like a heavy Fire King list. Oh, this is the one that was on Road to the King, I'm pretty sure. With a heavy Fire King package and a very small Snake Eye package. But this is from a little while ago. This isn't even recent. Yeah, this wasn't like super recent when they were all playing heavy Fire King. And then very small Snake Eye packages. Like extremely, extremely small. Which is, you know, not correct, right? Because the Snake Eye cards are actually just broken, or, like, this list doesn't even play the Snake Eye stuff. Like, the Snake Eye stuff is obviously broken. I mean, Maxi hurts it, but what? Now you're Servant. Oh, I mean, sure, I guess this is, once again, just not the Snake Eye stuff. This is just old stuff. Yeah, that's, like, not the same, right? And then this, oh, this is literally just old format. Okay, I guess that makes sense. Because it has 3 emergency, that card is at 1 in their format. Let me guess, they all have 3 emergency. Yeah, okay, no point of even going over that. Then I had Road to the King pulled up. Didn't mean to open that right there. But okay, yeah. I feel like they should also have dates on things. Because, like, you click on deck database, right? You're expecting the current OCG meta. You click it, and you don't see a date on any of this stuff. Like, let's go back to the Rescue Ace thing, right? There's no dates. And not everybody knows the OCG meta. Like, they were playing 3 Impulse, 3 Fire Attacker, 1 Fire Engine, 3 Emergency. Nobody's doing that right now. Because, first of all, Emergency's not even at 3 anymore. So I feel like that needs to be worked on for sure. They need to have a date on the stuff, make it easier to read, easier to look at. I feel like the site definitely has some problems. It has some upsides, you know what I mean? It provides deck lists of OCG stuff, probably before it gets on Road to the King, because if you look at Road to the King, let me go ahead and just click right here. You can see the last one that came out was January 27th, and a lot of the deck lists that they had posted came from January 27th and 28th. So they're actually getting some of the deck lists out faster than Road to the King, which I think is very good. I think they should, you know, maybe be focusing a little bit more on that. Their TCG side posting the deck list isn't the greatest because there's literally just spreadsheets that do that faster than they do, and provide more information with more deck lists and side deck staples and things like that. So I think the site definitely has its problems. I think they could improve on it. I also think that maybe they should hire a new writer, somebody that actually knows the game a little bit more. I understand, like, I don't know, they probably hired someone who's, like, actually a writer, but you don't need somebody who's actually a writer. You need somebody who, like, actually just plays the game, right? Like, me personally, I'm not crazy with words, so I wouldn't be saying stuff like, it's almost poetic that Soul Release is coming back into the game after a long hold down of 20 years or something like that. I wouldn't be saying that, you know what I mean? I'd be like, Soul Release is in the metagame now, it's a good card, yada yada yada, and I would just say that, you know what I mean? I feel like that's what they should be doing. I feel like they're kind of just yapping just to yap. But alright, that's going to be it for the video. I just wanted to go over this website. I'll leave a link to it down below in the description. I'll also leave a link to the the regional spreadsheet thing down below in the description if you want to go ahead and check that out. Shout out to Super Paludo for making that and working very hard on that. But yeah, that's going to be it for the video. I just wanted to go over my opinions about this website. I'm not hating on them. I want to see websites like this get better and become better, so that way, there's more places where duelists can get, meta duelists, more places where meta duelists can get information from on different formats, or even a format that they're playing themselves. But with all that being said, the DB Grinder signing off. Peace. Have a nice day. Stay safe.